This is the Authority Partners podcast.
Welcome to the Authority Partners podcast. Today, my guest in studio is Amar Saloshevich, who is a program architect specialized in QA for Authority Partners. Amar, welcome to the studio.
Hi, glad to be here.
Amar has been in the IT industry for 6+ years. He worked on different types of projects, from startups to enterprise-level projects. Currently, he is interested in artificial intelligence and how will that impact the IT industry. Additionally, he is focused on educations, especially teaching ISTQB certification. Today, we're going to talk about automation testing within SDLC. Amar, what is automation testing?
Automation testing, or test automation, is a method in software testing that uses scripted steps that are executed by a tool to validate if software is functioning correctly. All of this is done automatically with no human intervention, hence the word automation. To simplify it, everything that the tester would do manually is translated into a code and then executed automatically. Test automation in a nutshell is focused on increasing the overall software efficiency. We all know time is valuable on the project. Automation is helping by saving time so that we don't need to do manual testing over and over again. Reducing human errors is also one of the ways it increases efficiency. Human tends to make mistakes. Tester can forget to create a test scenario, to test something, or either way it can test it wrong way, but the automation won't, as it's automatically. So as we see, test automation has its benefits within the software development lifecycle, but it's often neglected. As to why is that? I think IT currently struggles to keep up with the test automation demand. This is meant two ways. One is finding people with test automation experience proves difficult because of the high demand. The second is demand within project, the demand to automate every functionality and not having enough time. This will change though. As the decline in manual tester is happening, the demand for automation tester is rising. This means that testing will shift its focus to prioritize automation testing.
So there is a term manual and automation tester. What is the difference and why do we have to split?
The software testing industry involves two kinds of testing, manual and automation. Automation testers are focused on automation testing, which we described previously. This differs from manual testers who are focused on manual testing that are doing all the hard work manually, meaning they're testing all the software manual. As why the split exists now, that's a bit tricky. Well, there are testers who are happily doing only manual work and there are testers who are happily doing only automation work. Also, the second point can be is people don't want to go out of their comfort zone. So automation testers usually think, okay, manual is boring, I don't want to learn the business logic, etc., etc. While the manual testers think learning the code is hard, so they don't even try. Now, is this right or wrong? To be honest, I don't know. I don't think there's like a right or wrong way in IT industry because depending on a project, depending on a solution, everything can be right and sometimes everything can be wrong sometimes. But from my point of view though, to be honestly, I think we should aim to be full stack QA. So full stack QA is someone that's focusing on all aspects of testing, not just focusing on one.
You mean like looking at the broader picture?
Yes, you should be able to also do manual and automation. The reason why is you'll grasp the project much better. As mentioned previously, you won't focus just on one and then you say, okay, I don't care about the other side, With this, to be honest, you're becoming much better tester. This is proven so many times. People just focus on one thing. Okay, they do it, but they're not really that great, man. Somebody takes a broad picture, as you mentioned it, they understand why it's happening, how to do it, and then they can implement the right way of doing stuff.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Yeah. The other reason can be, for example, what I think is the reason of this separation set up the testers to be stagnated because their skill set or code set is limited by their experience. Here we come to a point where tester comes into a state called stagnation by separation. Let me put an example for you. So, for example, a manual tester who's only doing manual work won't ever open code or look at the code. that means he'll never get better at it and never try to get to the root cause of the problems. While on the other hand, the automation tester who's looking only at automation scripts all day won't care about the business logic, won't care about why is he doing that stuff, is that really supposed to work like that? And that's the reason I think we shouldn't be splitting that. It's more like focus them on one point, make them full stack. It will be much, much more beneficial to them.
Well, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
I got it. I understand it. What is the best programming language, the framework for automation testing?
I usually get this question a lot, to be honest. It's like, what's the best language framework? So I can only learn that and, apply for a job. The IT is changing. IT is not stagnant. IT is always changing. It's evolving. There are so many different types of technology, different types of industry that are connected to it, different types of solutions. So to say there's like a language framework that will suit all of those issues, it's, from my point of view, incorrect. One framework might suit one application, but then it might not suit the other one. There is no like one solution for all. And that's okay. I mean, that's the reason why we have so many different frameworks, so that we can adapt to new situations and stuff that we need. People usually try to overcomplicate things as they try to force like one framework onto another, and then that doesn't go really well. Let me show it an example. Let's say we have an application that's focused on, let's say, one functionality, but trying to input multiple test inputs the same again. Now, for this type of application, we would use something called data-driven framework, meaning we can use lesser code to automate all of these scenarios, meaning less code, it will better work. Now, let me just make a point. I mean, it's not that we can't do this, use another framework. It's rather, should we do it? There are more efficient ways to do things in IT.
Well, should everything be automated? I mean, test cases?
This is something that's debatable within our community. Okay, let's split us. So there's like one group that says, no, everything should not be automated. And then there's the other group that say, yes, everything should be automated.
And to which group do you belong to?
I fall myself in the latter one. So I'm the yes guy. So let's try this. Let's take, for example, complexity out of this equation and debate. Okay, what I mean by complexity is meaning, let's not go with words like, okay, we can't automate this. That hence immediately stops the problem and saying, okay, everything can be automated. Let's focus on more if we should automate everything. The main reason that I get from the no guys is, let's say, the upkeep. Upkeep is something that's like, okay, nobody really takes into consideration how much takes effort and time to maintain all of these test automation. For example, they can automate a test case that's not really important that will then add to the upkeep, meaning they will need to maintain that test in the long run. Now, this is where I take a different stand. So I'm for automating everything. Doesn't matter if the test is insignificant. What will that prove in the later run is I don't need to worry about that test case. I understand the problem of time and everything, but if I have that scenario covered, I can draw it up on my mind and say, okay, now I'm confident that will work. More confidence means and the higher quality of the software.
I see there are a lot of ads for automation tester nowadays. Why is that?
Automation testers today are now hot commodity. So basically they are in high search. Some key factors that impact this is the current state of IT. We have now new processes which are DevOps, continuous integration, AI, CI/CD. All of these are focusing on development of the software. So test automation is an extremely important part of these processes. So the reason why is it reduces the runtime of the test. You don't need to do the manual tests over and over again. You can run it automatically, hence no time is used by a tester. Last night I was reading something, then I've checked like a Lambda report. Lambda is like a site which provides like market reports. So I've got to a situation where I checked like the test automation market will grow from like 12.6 billion to 28 billion within the next 2 years.
That's fast growing.
Yeah, that's fast growing. This is impacted by all sides. So that means not this growth that we see today, it will be multiplied by a lot. One of the other signs that you can see is not just the ads. Nowadays, we have a lot more education courses about automation testing, which we didn't have like a couple of years ago. With this rise of all the ads, also rises the people curiosity about it. Hence, lately I'm getting questions like, okay, Amar, how should I learn automation testing? How should I learn QA? Where can I learn it? What should I do? So from my point of view, you can find everything on the internet. Currently you have plural site which you can subscribe, then you'll get access to a lot of courses, videos, etc. that will help you. The other way is you can go to Udemy. You can buy yourself a course that you want. They are cheap, and then you can always reconnect them and look them again. Additional question that I really want to sort this out is, I'm usually asked I'm not smart enough or am I smart enough? So let's clear this out. There is no am I smart enough to do this. This only requires hard work and learning. You can be whatever age you are and then jump into IT and go straight for it.
Learn and then practice.
Yes, and trust me, I've taught people they didn't know how to turn on a computer and they were mid-30s. Now they're working as QA, senior QAs in some of the companies. So, okay.
A miracle is possible.
Yeah, okay, let me be honest for a second. The difference is if you have affinity towards, let's say, computers like that, you will learn it much faster. But if you don't, you will learn it slower. But in the end, the result is the same. That's the point. If you took 3 months or a year, doesn't matter. You'll learn, you can get a job and then keep working on yourself. One thing I would like to point out is for people to learn from the basics. So what I mean by that is learn the theory, focus on the ICQB foundation level, get a certificate. That will point you in the right way where you can learn the rest. You can then jump on databases, API, coding, which when you all sum up, you will be a full QA with no challenges upon you, and you can deal with any problems you get.
Well, that's really kind of cheerful perspective
to
how to join the IT.
Well, please guys, just go and learn,
Well, I guess lots of people from the faculty is actually kind of going through your trainings in the lab, so the AP lab. So they kind of start being IT professionals.
That's one of the best things I've seen Authority did. So it's we have the lab, people are going to it, learning a lot. They get in the firm and then they start helping. And
such a great program.
Yeah, I agree. I
love it.
I've been a couple times on it, looking at the demos. Yes, and as a trainer. So the young ones, they have the ambition, and that's good. When you look at their eyes, you can see, okay, they are eager to learn that, which is good.
And the last question is actually about the future. Do you think the manual testing will go extinct in the future?
Even though manual testing is dying, it won't go fully extinct. There will always be a need for some sort of manual testing. We can have 100% of test automation. We can have AI, artificial intelligence, but in the end, there will be need of some sort of manual testing that will need help too. The whole IT will evolve, and with that, the QA will need to evolve with too. So in what form, to be honest, I really don't know. But what I can say with certainty is that this barrier that we talked is, let's say, the manual testers and the automation testers, that's going to be broken. There's not going to be any difference in the future. That, to be honest, I'm certain of. Yesterday, I read a quote, which I want to finish this off, and bear with me, I'm not sure I'll remember it fully. So it goes something like this, is IT is evolving, and those who are not quickly upskilling will find themselves with no viable career prospects in the future. So what does this mean? It means if we don't evolve, if we don't start to learn new things, own our skills, adapt to the new ways, there won't be a lot of work for example, the manual testers.
Yeah, it's a fast-growing industry, and the things are changing almost as we speak. So
definitely,
I assume that everybody needs to be on that train.
Yes, and that's why IT is not like a 8-hour job. You need to do your job, and then you need to focus on learning new stuff. Basically, as you mentioned, keep up with the program.
Great, yeah. I think that that's pretty much applicable to nowadays for lots of professions, but IT especially. Well, Amar, thank you for being with us today. It was a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun.
That's good. That's really good. I love when our guests are having fun in the studio.
That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to the Authority Partners podcast. Find more episodes via authoritypartners.com or join and follow us at our social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn.
Thank you for listening to Authority Partners podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.